again. Don the old radio guy here. Arm still in a sling. I didn't think I'd be back doing any videos, but I find it hard to stay away from the bench. But I thought I'd show you a couple of things that I've been working on that I still can work on. This is the amplifier, preamplifier, I guess, volume, tone, balance, and bass and treble. Volume, control, tone, balance, bass and treble. Okay, I've got it all populated, except I haven't put the ICs in. There's the board there, and everything is soldered pretty well. I've even managed to get, if I can get that in the shot tighter, yeah, I'm in a shadow here, so I'm not a lot I can do with one arm. Anyhow, I've got the external connections for plus and minus and ground there, color coded, you might note, where red will be the plus 15 and blue will be the minus 15, and black, I guess, is traditional for ground. And then also traditional, the input, which is there, is typically red for right and white for left, and the two grounds are black. And the output, where are we? The output is there, and the same configuration applies. So that when I get it mounted in the case, I will be able to easily wire these things up with the color coding in mind. So that's done. The board is actually done except for the ICs put in. I haven't tried it out. I have to put the ICs in. I've got a power supply that gives me plus and minus 15, so I can try it out before it gets mounted in. Another board that's going in is the Phono Preamp RIAA. It has two ICs in it, and the same thing with the same color codes as on the other board, so that'll keep things straight. Every part is in, except there are 4 resistors, 2 of each value, that are missing because the parts are on order. I didn't have them in stock. 750 ohms was one, and what's the other one? 180, which weren't commonly stocked by me in the past. So I'm waiting for those to come in, and then they'll go in. Now, another thing I wanted to show is that I have the front panel. I'll back this off if I can. Okay, there's the front panel. Now I have a grid piece of paper glued to the back, not the front. Okay, and its orientation will be, let me see if I can get this right. Yeah, this is upside down writing. This just happened to be the way I did it. Alright, so the board goes in from the back, and all the little marks I have there, and these ones which haven't been crossed, but nevertheless represent all the jacks, the phono jacks that will be put in. Okay, I have the switch, I have most everything. The biggest holdup I have is my arm, in that I need to use the drill press in my woodworking shop in order to accurately drill these holes and not have it look pretty amateurish. And it requires 2 hands, the left hand to hold this in place and the right hand to run the press, and I can't do it. My arm is not, I'm not allowed to use the arm in that manner. So it's going to be the very last thing I'll be able to do in the woodworking shop before winter sets in, and hopefully my arm will be strong enough to do that there. At any rate, the board goes in from the back. As I said, this is the back, and it goes in, let me see, which way have I got? Volume is there. Nope, that's wrong. How have I got this? I have to figure it out myself. Alright, this is volume. So it goes in that way. Okay. And somehow I have messed up in that. I don't think it's going to affect anything, but I wanted No, I've got it the right way around. I have to rethink my things. The selector switch, which is here, will be mounted there. And this board will be mounted thusly. And then I've had to configure all sorts of things. I've got markings for the preamp input, moving magnet, a ceramic input, which is a board I have yet to devise, and a front panel auxiliary. And then I have a little something that will come in handy for testing amplifier phono inputs, is a reverse RIAA, which will take the line signal and apply a reverse RIAA and give you a signal out that you can feed into a test amplifier, or at least an amplifier or receiver that's on the bench in repair with complaints about the phono input. So without having to haul a turntable in order to supply a moving magnetic cartridge signal, I can use this. The next one is tape monitor output to feed into a tape recorder device or any other device that needs a line level output, and then tape in, which will be from a tape recorder or anything that needs to return a signal from that processor or tape deck back in. Then something that I didn't think of with the first amp was, if I'm going to work on a power amp, I need a source of a volume controlled, tone controlled signal at so-called line levels, I guess, to feed a test basic power amplifier. That will be there. And then if I have a preamplifier that I need to test, it will connect in there and feed to my internal power amplifiers. Also, there is a switch that will jumper these connections for normal use. Okay, if you look at the back of a lot of 70s and 80s receivers and amplifiers, there will be a pre-out and power in connections at the back, usually RCA, and there should be either a jumper or a switch to control that. And then I need, because I will use the speakers, the test speakers, hooked up to this amplifier, but I also might want to use them to test an amplifier or receiver. I can use the speaker in and amp out if I want to test speakers, amp out, and then the switches, which will be there and there, will control whether these jacks are jumpered or not. And why I'm using a separate switch for each channel is that I want to switch in and out the ground connections or the common connections in case I'm using an amplifier that's either faulting or has isolated negative. Some early transistor amplifiers use an elevated ground or a non-common ground, so I need to be able to switch this in and out. The switches for the this one pre in and out is there. The tone switch, which is part of this board, I don't know whether I can show that. It's at the back, the connections for nullifying the tone switches. And the tape monitor switch is there. That leaves a place for a pilot light there, and that's it. Everything you see here will have a board attached to it, except the preamp will be mounted on the bottom of the cabinet, and therefore the input connections to the preamp will be very short. I should be able to get away without shielding them. There will be no AC in this. The twin power supplies will be put in another cabinet, and I have to use a separate power supply for the preamp and a separate power supply for the power amp. They will be in the same enclosures but separate until they get up here, and then the grounds will be connected at a common star point connection here. And that's all that I'm really capable of doing at the moment with this. Whatever other projects I do, I have more boards in here for another system if I wanted to use that. Now, I have a self-designed or my designed preamplifier in my living room stereo setup, and I wasn't altogether too happy with the board that I used, so I thought I would replace them with this. However, the configuration is different for physically mounting, and I'd have to re-drill a complete separate front panel, and I'm not really up to that. What I also have here is, where are they? I decided to buy two, they're called subsonic filters, and they're basically used between the magnetic phono preamp and your input of your main preamp in order to remove rumble, or more importantly the artifacts, the really low frequency artifacts of record warping. Is basically what it does. Is it generates in the cartridge and is passed on through the preamp a signal that can wreck your woofers, cause all sorts of problems, and wastes power, more importantly, in having the power amplifier generate the power to execute these warp signals. They're of no value to the audio component, and so I bought these to put in there. I don't need it in this. I thought I would use it in my living room stereo, but I got a circuit online where I had what they call adjustable bass roll-off, and at first I didn't think much of it. I have two controls on the front panel, left and right, that will control the depth and the frequency of the roll-off for bass. And I found when having the speaker close to the turntable and having a rather warped record on there, that critical adjustment of them, and it works rather nicely. I believe it's one IC with 2 feedback loops per channel on it, and so this may not get used at all. As you can also probably see in here, I've got a plethora of RCA jacks, and all of them are to be isolated from the chassis. You don't want multiple grounds, and all of the inputs except for what's on the back, and I didn't discuss that, but I have a dedicated CD player and a tuner and also a feed from my computer, and they will enjoy hidden connectors at the back because they'll all stay connected and there's no need to take up extra space on the front panel. And the panels essentially are isolated from each other, so I can use regular jacks and then have a common connection of the, what do we got? We'll have an output. No, we won't. We'll just have 3 inputs at the back, and they'll be common grounded to the star connector, which will be a special connection on the bottom plate of this cabinet that I've got. So they're all ready and waiting to go, but then I have to drill the holes, and I can't drill the holes yet. So it's frustration all the way around. I have a little trick that I can show if I can plug this back in. For those of you who have the old standard Weller soldering gun, I have found in putting small components in that my tweezers were magnetized, and I have a little trick to remove them. I don't know whether I can demonstrate that. Let's see what these do. I've already done the tweezer end, but I think the back end, yep, the back end is still magnetized. Well, it hardly matters because what I'm dealing with is the tine end of the tweezers. But the trick is, if you have a soldering gun, you pull the trigger and you put the magnetized screwdriver, whatever, through, and you'll feel the vibration, okay? And what you do is do not turn it off while it's in there, but you run it back and forth and then bring it out slowly. Then you can turn off your gun, and the magnetism, well, that didn't work. That's still magnetized. Maybe I didn't put it through far enough. We'll see. We'll try again. Feed it through. Do not turn the gun off while you're doing this. Oh, that's pretty strong there. Okay, let's see if that's done it. There you go. So it's demagnetized. So it's handy at times to have a magnetized tool for placing screws, but quite often I find it's very irritating to want to pick up something, and you pick it up okay, and then you put it where you want it, and then when you go to let it go, the part follows your tweezers or your pliers or your screwdriver, and you're saying a few curse words. So for anybody that has one of these, that works. If you have a tape head demagnifier, anything that puts an AC alternating magnetic field out will do the same thing. It will remove it. But if you bring this near a magnet, another magnetized screwdriver, whatever, or I've got some ceramic magnets up there, if you bring it near that, then it will acquire another magnetic charge field, and you'll have to go through this procedure again. But it was very irritating. I've got these little, I need more light here, these little connectors, which are part of a header system. I just snip off what I need for whatever color, and then you place them in. And I'm placing them in, and as I'm releasing the tweezers and taking it back out, they don't fit all that tightly in there, and then it just came right out. So I had to do that. Once I get these in, because they are sort of loose, I put a thin layer of crazy glue on the front and let that set up, and then I can go to the back and solder the connections, and everything's fine. And I like them. They're relatively cheap to acquire, and they work for me. I've got, I don't know, 6 or 7 different colors there, so I can mix and match as I see fit. At any rate, that's all I have to offer for today. Anything else I can possibly do with my not bandage, but arm in a sling, anything I can do, then I'm liable to want to record it and make it available online. So anyhow, thanks for watching. Have a good day.